Question number 1. Can you pinpoint good memories and discern between those and the bad memories? Do you know which memories fuel which thought patterns, which form your words, then actions, then finally your reality? Do you know the difference between a good memory and a bad memory? So I'm gonna run that back again. Can you pinpoint good memories and discern between those and the bad memories? Do you know which memories fuel which thought patterns, which form your words, then actions, and finally your reality? Do you know the difference between good and bad memories? Take a minute and sit on that. Realize you go back and do the work. Some of the memories that you thought were bad turned out to be for your good. And some of the memories that were good sometimes don't turn out to be so good. They turn out to be a memory that you had to place there that way to protect you from something else. Don't be afraid to do the work. Question number 2. What quality traits, good or bad, would you say that you got from your family, your original tribe, the people that you grew up with, you was mostly around? Your mom was kicking you out the house or whatever, so you was never home, you was out in the streets. What quality traits, good or bad, would you say that you inherited from your family? So if you need help with that question, the question of what quality traits, good or bad, would you say you got from your family? Have you ever been in a room or around people and they say, you acting just like your father? What was that thing that you did? What did you do to elicit that response for that person to say, you just like your daddy? What is that thing that you do that gets people to say that? Go on. This is the third question, but what we're going to do is we're going to save that one for later. Think about these two. Write those down. All right. So mindset is an established set of attitudes. These attitudes are regarded as typical of a particular group of social or cultural values. So your mindset is your outlook, your philosophy, your values, your perspective. For you to have perspective, you need to know who, what, when, where, why, how you are, right? And then that in respect to things other than you will be your perspective. So you are fixed and you understand where, who, what, current events of you. Now that tree in respect to who you are is now perspective. For example, when you are 5, who, what, when, where, why, who you are as it pertains to that tree might be different when you're 13, when you're 20, when you're 30, right? When you're a kid, you're thinking about George Washington chopping down the tree. You get older and it's Earth Day and you love the earth. You get older, you understand that trees are beneficial to so many different aspects of our life and they help us breathe. So even if you know who you are and you do the work, your perspective shifts throughout time. It is imagine you don't know who you are. Imagine you are not self-aware and you don't know how you feel about things as it pertains to you. But how can you know about how you feel about things as it pertains to you if you don't know how you feel as it pertains to you? If you don't do the work to figure out you, how can you tell anyone about you? How can you get to know anybody? How can you change your mindset if you have not identified the thing you need to change? The first step to changing your mindset, the first step to changing your thought process is to identify who, what, when, where, why you are right now. Becoming aware is imperative to changing that mindset. So we talking about thought process, changing our thought process, perspective, who you are, how things change. So personally, when we work on our thought process, you have to take any time, any chance that you can to work on it. I noticed that my thought process as it pertains to driving, I get incredible incredibly upset when people just don't follow simple, common rules of the road. I've noticed on the road that I would get frustrated. I would cuss out. I'd stick up secret middle fingers and carry on when people swerved or cut me off or whatever the case may be. And then one day I was driving and coffee spilled in my lap. The coffee was hot and it was quick. I recovered. Thank God I didn't get into an accident, but I bet the people that were around me were like, this guy. So there's a tool that I use. There's a word that I use, and it's my tool, and it's sonder. And sonder is the profound feeling of realizing that everyone, including strangers passing in the street, has a life as complex as your own, which they are constantly living despite your personal lack of awareness. So it is important to work on your mindset or figure out who you are, because I am the person that gets upset when people cut him off, right? I'm also the person that has had coffee spill in his lap and done the very thing that upsets me to other people on the road. I didn't do this on purpose. I'm not an evil person. I wasn't going out my way to inconvenience anybody. At that moment, I needed to know that I was going to be okay. I was panicked myself. When you have that understanding, you can then say, wow, every time somebody does, you have the choice. It's a mindset. You have the choice to say, every time that somebody cuts you off, every time that thing happens on the road, this is me talking to myself now. You have the choice to say that somebody could have spilled their coffee, or they're on the phone and they just heard that their mom passed away, and for a split second they lost all ability to drive. You understand what I'm saying? We never know exactly what it is that's going on. So our reaction and how we react to people and to things it's important. It's important because we don't know who, what, when, where, why they are. So that very thing, that way that you are, that you didn't work on, that you don't know where it comes from, causes you to react in a way that harms your loved ones, because they also didn't do the work, don't know who, what, when, where, why, or how they come from. So if we're all just not, if we all just not doing the work, then, come on. Question number 3, how often do you think about the past with your family? Why or why not? How often do you think about the past with your family? Why or why not? If y'all do talk about it, what is it that y'all talk about, and how do those things show up in y'all everyday life? So, how often do you talk about the past with your family? Why or why not? If y'all do talk about it, how often do y'all talk about it, and how do those things that y'all talk about show up in your life? So we have neural pathways. I like this one. Neural pathways is a series of connected neurons that sends signals from one part of the brain to another. When a behavior is performed, the connections between the cells change with the frequency of the behavior being performed. That is what a neural pathway is. So you used to do things this way. Your brain has certain neural pathways, connections that help you. It's like muscle memory almost. It literally low-key is muscle memory that help you do that thing. You don't have neural pathways associated with eating properly. You don't have neural pathways associated with getting up and going to the gym. You don't have neural pathways associated with being a person that has who has exemplary work ethic, who has excellent work ethic. So to get those neural pathways, you have to do those things. You're used to doing things the way that you do them. So the neural pathways that you have are the way that you do the things that you do. The only way to change a behavior, to change your neural pathways, is to literally change the frequency of what you do the thing. So If every day I drive and I go left and I go left and I go left, that's the neural pathway. It's left. It's comfortable. I know how I'm going to get to work, what time I got to wake up, all of those things. Get up and go right. You know what's going to happen? You don't know what's going to happen if you go right. You're going to have to leave a little early. You're going to have to do, and then what happens is you figure out the kinks. You figure out how to do it properly. You go right now, and right works. New neural pathway. We have to get out of the rut, out of the groove of these old neural pathways that we've created, and we need to start walking a path that has never been walked, and walk over it and walk over it and walk over it and walk over it till the line is divined. Till the line is defined, because we've walked over it so much. So now there's imprinted a path, a pathway, a neural pathway, because we walked that way instead of the other way. It is a decision that you have to make. It is a routine that you have to break. The routine of doing things this way that gives you the life that you don't want, versus doing things this way that will give you everything in life that you want. You know, the problem lies in the fact that doing things this way is the way you want to do things, but you get nothing from it. The way that you get everything from it, the things you gotta do, you don't want to do. Where does that come from? That's not natural. Where does the thought of my life getting better, but me not being the one who is going to make my life better, where does that come from?